Hello and welcome to another WFNY CornerCast. I am your host, Joe Gerbs Gerberry, and I am joined tonight by Matt Wizard Milner. We are brought to you by the Evergreen Podcast Network, and we are part of the Waiting for Next Year community. Matt, we are currently we have watched a perfect game happen for a bit and then not happen. As we were saying off air, it's just dirty pool to get a to bunt for the hit, right? Like,
It's
especially in the
shameful.
sixth. Like, it's
so shameful.
I get it a little bit more when it's in the sixth inning because it's early enough to where you're like, it's not the ninth. You know what I mean? Like, you're still trying. You could still even right now they're tied, so like obviously they could still catch back up in the sixth inning or whatever. But in the ninth, I feel like you almost just want to let it happen.
Yeah, I agree. Like if especially when it's the sixth, seventh, when everybody kind of knows what's going on. Like, I get it. It's good. Like, in the moment, if you can get the bunt down, it's good. It's good strategy. But it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth because it's like you're getting no hit, or in this case was a perfect game. Earn your hit at this point. You shouldn't be trying to it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. This is why, for 100 years, it's one of the few rules, unwritten rules I've always got, because it's like, you're getting no hit. You know nobody's on base. Like, earn your way on if you're gonna get no hit at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just dirty pool, man. It's not cool. It's not great. Nobody wants that. Like, and nobody wants the Andres Galarraga game that happened in Cleveland, but also no one wants to see a bunt in a sixth inning. Like, just suck it up. But anyway, swing away. Don't swing away. We're swinging away because the Gardos are 1 in the playoffs, 2 division champs, and 3 have locked in at least the number 2 seed in the AL. They have a chance still at the first seed. Currently, the Gardos are tied against the Reds, while the Yankees are losing 7-1. There is no hangover for the Orioles tonight. So, there remains a possibility that they could sneak into that 1 seed. They would have to win out basically the rest of their games, while New York loses at least a couple more. But it's looking like they are going to finish with the 2 seed. That's what we'll talk about tonight. That's we will operate under that being the most likely scenario. If it happens to be better, maybe we'll come on next week when everybody's still when the Gardos are still off and discuss what that looks like. But so number 2 seed in the division in the AL, it looks like they will play the winner of the 3 seed and 6 seed matchup, which I think figures to be Houston and is it Minnesota right now or is it Seattle?
Seattle and Minnesota are out of it, so it would probably be the Royals. It looks like, at least from the current standings.
Current standings, obviously, we'll go with current standings as it pertains, because obviously things can happen in these games. But yes, it would be the Royals. So the winner of the Astros and Royals, the Astros have won a clinched their division, so they are definitely at least a 3 seed. And they can't go higher than 3. They can go. Actually, I don't think they can go lower than.
Yeah.
So Astros are locked into 3. Baltimore has clinched a playoff berth as well as the Yankees, and as I said, Baltimore is fiddling with the Yanks, trying to get that, trying to make sure that they get that playoff spot, or they have at least a playoff spot locked in. But Houston versus Kansas City, as it stands right now, that seems to be where Cleveland is looking. What do you think about that matchup as it stands right now? Obviously, we will see them come to Cleveland Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week, or this week rather. But what do you think about that matchup for the playoffs?
Yeah, if things stand as they do, it's definitely a tough test for the Royals, who will be entering the playoffs for the first time since 2015 against a very battle-tested, very an Astros team that has won their division for the seventh time in recent memory. So that'll be a tough test. And I guess if we're since we're Guardians fans here, we probably would prefer the Royals if they somehow get past Houston, just because like if they somehow were able to get past an Astros team that has always played up in the playoffs, I think it would be a win for the Guardians, just because I think our style plays better in the playoffs than what the Royals uh as constructed can be. Like obviously in a wild card round, chaos can always happen. So if anybody who survives in the wild card, they're lucky to even be there. And I would say, like, for me personally, I would probably want the Royals more so than the Astros, because like we've seen through postseasons past, they bring it. No matter what shape they are in the regular season, they bring it.
Yes, for sure. I agree with you. Obviously, you'd rather face the lower seed and the team that you've beaten more often than not in the regular season. Um, and you know, Kansas State's really coming in limping. Besides Bobby Witt, there hasn't really been anybody else putting up numbers um, for Kansas City. They are out of their last 10, they're 3-7. So you know, just a lot of
And at one point, they went 27 innings without scoring a run, just to show how long ago it was. I was 27, and now I'm 28. And the last time they scored a run was on Friday. So that's how bad things have been for them offensively.
yeah, that's a long time to go. A couple games to go without scoring a run. But yeah, Cleveland really seems to be in the driver's seat. And as you said, as you alluded, Cleveland's style of play, the like slash and dash, the elite bullpen play is one that really plays up in the postseason because, as you said, the playoffs are a random number generator, and Jose Ramirez just hit number 38. So,
Wait,
cheers, everybody. Um,
oh, I'm behind, so I'm watching this live as we
I'm
speak.
on game day, so I don't have the game on, but he just hit number 38. So we're in a chance of 40-40 here, and looking like it's getting closer. So that's nice. Cleveland's back up, which puts them possibly, I think, a half game behind New York if scores hold. But anyway, all right, getting back to it.
Oh, he smoked that. Woo!
Good, good. Anyway, um, Cleveland's style of play does definitely play up for the playoffs, which bodes well for everything going forward for Cleveland. I wanted to make mention of what they announced was the plan for the weekend. As I said, they are playing Houston. Um, they have an off day tomorrow when you'll be listening to this on Thursday. They have Houston coming to town on uh, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they have announced that. Let me see if I can find that tweet. Now I've lost it. I had it and then I lost it. Um,
Yeah, currently they're doing a
Andrew
bullpen
Walters
game.
started today's. Andrew Walters started today's game. Um, Joey Cantillo, possibly with an opener, will start on Friday. Saturday is just going to be a regular Ben Lively start. And then Sunday, there will be an opener for Gavin Williams. They have said that they wanted to get Gavin a bullpen role before the postseason starts as an example of what his role in the postseason might be. I like that approach because with a bullpen like Cleveland's, you are able to, have a guy like an Andrew Walters or Pedro Avila. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Um, sure.
Yeah,
I've only seen it read.
and another thing that plays into Cleveland's favor with how the schedule is playing out, every day is going to be like game 1, day off. Game 2, day
Yes.
off. Game
Yes.
3, day off. So they can go whatever direction they want, and it would all make sense. If they wanted to just do like three innings with, say, like Gavin, and then they just go straight to the bullpen, they could do that. Or Tanner Bybee, he can do a normal start, and then they can pull him after 5 and just unleash Cade 2 innings, and then like they could do whatever they want, and that's the exciting thing, and
Yes.
why I bring that up early on about Cleveland's chances with the bullpen. Their bullpen is so deep that whatever idea that they can come up with will probably make sense in some shape or
Yes.
form because of what they have at their disposal.
Yes. The For sure. At most, if they are able to get deeper into the playoffs, there might be a back-to-back situation. But even then, that will be coming off of an off day, with an off day after like the second game, after game 2 or game whatever. So, if you're in a situation where the positive for Cleveland, the bullpen, in all of it as it uh, is going to be able to be completely utilized as much as possible, as highly efficient as it can be. It can be used that way for Cleveland in the playoffs. So, you're going to see uh, tons of games that end Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis, Emmanuel Clase. And, there, like you said, there, if you get Gavin for 3 or Gavin for 4, where he gets through 2 times through the lineup, and then you bring in an Eli Morgan or a Walters or a Sabrowski. Um, those guys are capable of holding out, and stopping the bleeding and getting to your longer guys, your bigger guys in the back end of the bullpen. Um, so yeah, it really does play up to the point. You like the idea of using Gavin Williams as a like bulk reliever in the playoffs? Because I think we've heard on the Selby's Godcast a lot of the like, who's your game 2 starter? And it really makes your game 2 starter could end up being Pedro Avila. It could be Eli Morgan is your game 2 starter when Gavin Williams pitching right after him.
I mean, I kind of like the idea, just because I know that's been a conversation on the Godcast too, where they're like, we're not quite sure after Tanner Bybee, just because and they'll go on, but I definitely like the idea of mixing and matching, just because obviously Gavin's stuff can play up in a bullpen role. I believe, and if you want to do 3 innings for him in a certain situation, that would probably make sense. So and even Alex Cobb, he can come in a certain situation, and because of how much of a ground ball machine is, it makes sense in certain instances. So I don't know. There's a lot of ideas that they can play with that just make sense.
Yeah, it's such a wow. Clase just hit 102 to Ellie, or to Stevenson. Dear Lord, he seems to be missing a lot tonight. Anyway, sorry, distracted. I need to focus.
ADHD kicking in.
Yeah, let's move off of let's close that out for a bit. Let Clase do his mound visit here. All right, so we discussed the possible rotation. Let's look at what the lineup could be, because right now we have the rosters rather. The postseason goes back down to 26 26 players. Usually it's 13. Most teams carry 13 position players, 13. I know who I'm missing on the other one. Anyway, 13 pitchers, 13 position players. So you have your Quan, your Andres, your Jose, and Josh Naylor for your infield. Kyle Manzardo at DH, Rocchio at short. Quan will be in left field. Lane Thomas in center for the most part. Right field will be a mixture of Will Brennan and John Kenzie Noel. At catcher, Bo will probably get the majority, but I can also see Austin Hedges getting some starts there. And David Fry obviously also needs to be on this roster. So you are looking at Bo Naylor was the one I was missing, by the way. Out of Angel Martinez. Angel Hernandez is out of baseball. We're very thankful for that. Angel Martinez, however, is not. Angel Martinez or Daniel Schneemann, I think we can both agree you'd rather carry Martinez over Schneemann, correct? As your 13th-ish guy.
I would agree, I would think, because I think the team even also agrees because they put him out in front in terms of the leadoff spot. And when Quan was out, he was playing left field. So he's played more and more, and Schneemann seems to be being phased out more and more as of late.
Yeah.
So I do believe, like, whenever that time comes next week, Angel will be like that one guy on the bench that they could plug in different spots depending, like, whatever happens during the game.
Yeah, with the expanded rosters right now, you can carry a guy like Schneemann, so he can, sit in, he can sit in the dugout, sit in the locker room, and kind of be in the clubhouse with these guys and get that like cup of coffee, get that experience a little bit more. You don't have to send him down. As far as the pitchers, you have Tanner Bybee, you have Gavin Floyd, Matt Boyd, Joey Cantillo, Alex Cobb, Ben Lively. That's like the six guys that will make up your rotation ish. Your bulk your big bulk relievers. Obviously you'll have Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis, Emmanuel Clase, Tim Herron, Pedro Avila. With Bo Naylor, that's 24. Obviously, like I said, so you're adding two pitchers. Are you adding, out of the three, you have to pick two. Is it Eli Morgan, Andrew Walters, and Eric Sabrowski?
Oh, man. That feels like such a tough three to...
Or Sandlin. Nick Sandlin as well. You have to pick four. Out of the four, you have to pick two.
Out of the two. I would think, just because of recent developments, Sabrowski and Walters, I would say.
Those would be the names that I would want. I can definitely see the team picking Eli Morgan to be in one of those just because he can give a little bit more length I could
agree.
I think you can feasibly pitch Eli Morgan as an opener, and if he needs to go to 20 pitches or 25 pitches, he can do that, as opposed to trusting Andrew Walters, a rookie, or Eric Sabrowski, a rookie, to go out there. I mean, They've both been pitching great, and Andrew Walters started today's game, so it's not as though we're without some guys here, but
yeah, that's why I say it's such a tough three to try to choose from, because everybody has done their part as of recent. You could make a case for Walters. Sabrowski, you could make a case for as an extra lefty to in certain situations. And Eli, he's been a bit of an underrated piece. So I could definitely see Eli being picked because, he can give you a little bit more length, because in the past he was a starter that converted to a bullpen arm. And obviously he has that great changeup that he can always fall back on. So you can lay a case for every one of these guys. But I can also see where they say, "Hey, Zabrowski, thanks for helping out, but you're gonna have to sit this one out." Same with Walters, just because like they
Yeah.
want their best guys, and like, but like I said, they can make a case for any of those three. I think right now it's just hard to really get behind Sandlin just because of he's just kind of one of those very
Recent
straight.
developments.
Yeah, yeah, like the what they've done, and then Sandlin's struggles has just made it a lot easier if they wanted to just put Sandlin to the side. Not that he's not been helpful this year, but as of recent developments, drink, because I've said it's like 50 times. Um, it he might just be off it just because like he's struggled as of late, which that's been the case for him.
Yeah, I think Nick Sandlin's off the roster. I think, and the team is able to carry guys as a like taxi squad. Have these guys
Mm-hmm.
in the locker room, in the clubhouse. They said, the rules are within reason, but to have these guys there and around, it's nice to have that, because like I said, as I said before, with Schneemann, keeping him around and seeing post this postseason push is helpful for his development going forward. Also, ball game, and if the score holds, as I said, Cleveland is now a half game closer. Yeah, it's the bottom five. Baltimore's up 8-3, a half game closer to the number one seed, which would allow them to face the winner of Baltimore and currently Detroit. So anyway,
And if we can make the Yankees' lives easier, it's even better.
I'd much rather make the Yankees' lives harder. But yeah, so it's things are lining up for Cleveland, especially the way the bats have gone. Lane Thomas has heated up. Kyle Manzardo has been on a tear since he was called up at the beginning of September when rosters expanded, and getting starts early in the lineup. They've been using him in the number two hole while Kwan was out. Obviously, Stephen Kwan came back today and hit a home run. But Manzardo has been as big of a help as any player right now, and yeah, to get to have the bats heating up right now really seems to be a help for Cleveland. How do you feel about the play of the offense heading into like this big series with Houston and this last series of the regular season?
Yeah, it's huge because right now, like Kyle Manzardo and Lane Thomas, they provided the boost that they needed. Like in September, they are both in terms of slugging percentage in September. Like Kyle Manzardo has a 647 slugging, Lane Thomas 625. They both lead in September with for those who have a minimum of 50 plate appearances. Like they've been huge. Like Kyle has had 5 home runs. Lane has had 7. They've provided a boost that they were both brought in for. Like the adjustments that Kyle made 2 days before, when they gave him a couple days to prep to be the DH, because nobody really preps to be a DH when they come to the big leagues. That was huge because he got into a routine. And Lane Thomas is now finally settled and is starting to crush the ball. So you now have 2 guys who are on a heater right now. And going into a postseason where you now have your number 2 hitter, and depending on the lineup, 2 and 5 hitters like settled, and it gives more length, it's very beneficial. Like for Jose and Naylor and Hemi and like Kwan, if he is much healthier and his back is a lot better shape than it was a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, you're looking at a lineup that has found, like you said, all of a sudden has found a lot of length. If Andres hasn't had the best year, but having him, I oddly like trust him in late game situations. Um, and then you're still like, Will Brennan's been putting on good at bats against
Mm-hmm.
right-handed pitching. Jean-Kency Noel is what your sixth or seventh hitter if there's a tough lefty on the board or someone that you can go to as a pinch hitter for a
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Manzardo or whatever. And then you have you have Angel. Brian Rocchio has been doing incredible things in September for a guy that uh has struggled offensively. He's had a September that has been as good as almost anyone on the roster. So yeah, all of a sudden the lineup seems to be clicking at the right time. Hosey's making this push for 40-40, which is helpful. Um, and you have these clutch bats like Jose, you have these clutch bats like Josh Naylor and Jimenez, that they are guys that now have been in the postseason before. Quan the same way. That like they've earned their stripes, and the guys that were kids the first go around are now the like, we missed out last year. We're going to we're there now. You know what I mean? And they've earned their stripes, earned their scars of losing in the postseason, and can help out guys like Manzardo and Bo Naylor and um, Rocchio keep an even keel.
For sure. And like, yeah, it'll be a lot of first for some of these guys, but you're right. Like Jose, he's been through it ever since 2016. He's been through numerous postseasons. Quan, Clase, Naylor, like who got their first taste in 2022. They'll know how to help these guys out. Like it it's going to be fun. Obviously, the one like Tanner who is going into his first postseason without necessarily like that veteran presence to go to be on his side. Alex Cobb is probably the closest, but he hasn't pitched enough to really like, I would say, get
He's not
like
coming
with the
in. He doesn't have the relationship built with them the way like a Bieber did, or the older veterans that were there for Bieber or before him. But yeah, Shane not Bybee is now the dude
yeah.
and the stopper, and he has to show up and do that for Cleveland in a role that he's never done that before. So I'm with you. I got you. I'm here where you're coming from. And yeah, does Cobb have a ring? I don't know that Cobb has a ring, but I know he's been in the playoffs before.
The last time he was in the postseason was when he faced us in 2013. So it's been a
Okay.
minute for him.
Yeah. But the fact that he's been pitching for 13, 11, 12 years, 13 years, something like that, it does help the team know that, that he's there for them. And, I, as crazy as it sounds, as homerish as it may be, I believe in Stephen Vogt, and this coaching staff seems to have everyone in the right spots. They are that mixture of experience and youth that I think was missing with Tito, in that Vogt played with Cobb. Vogt played with I don't know that he played with Hedgie, but I know he's played with he played what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? How long has he been out? Like it's
He
not
was
been
at
long.
He was out of baseball 2 years. His only bit of coaching experience was a bullpen coach with Seattle. So
Right.
that was his only year of coaching experience.
Yeah. But and it's very possible or likely that he's played with or against some of the players that the team is going to face, and having that like literal firsthand knowledge of like, oh yeah, when Garrett Cole throws, this, it looks like this. He's able to tell you as real as anyone that, these are the guys that you're looking at and such, because it wasn't too long ago that he was in there. But I really do trust Stephen Vogt to be the manager. I think that this is I think to me, he's a shoe-in for manager of the year. I don't really
If he
see.
isn't, I don't know who the other candidate could be, because he's done such a tremendous job. I wouldn't know who to give it to other than Stephen Vogt. And yes, that sounds homerish, but can
I
you name
mean,
another better case?
I don't know that. AJ Hinch is going to get any kind of a votes for the Tigers. Uh, it's not going to be Rocco Baldelli. Uh,
It's more likely he's packing his bags than than
yeah,
getting manager of the year.
yeah. Minnesota's out of the playoffs right now, so.
That's
Uh, but anyway,
eat your heart outside, Louis.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to bring up his name or invoke. I have a really hard time like being a gloating fan. Like I scroll through Twitter and I see like eyebrow, keeping posting receipts, and Quincy Wheeler posting receipts of,
Oh yeah,
all this
it
stuff.
gets
And
overboard at times. It
I
gets
get
overboard.
I understand that's what fandom is about, but also, you know, there's a reason I don't post. I am ecstatic that we have now hit 92 wins, because that's what I expected the team to have in the beginning. I predicted they'd have 92. So with a win tonight, that puts us at 92, which is where I thought we would be. And so I've made that a little bit known of like, hey guys, I was right. Um,
Yeah, you're right. Because I remember when we did the pod with Mitch, I think he said like 86 wins. I sort of rode the fence and said like somewhere between 78 to 86 wins, and you were the one guy that was stood tall, was like 92 on the dot. I don't
yep,
care, I'm doing
I
it.
was there. I saw a lot in this team. I saw a lot of good things. I did not see, a postseason without Shane Bieber or Tristan McKenzie. And I didn't see, I didn't see how Kyle Manzardo wasn't up for most of the year. I didn't see how Lane Thomas coming over. I didn't see a power season like this from Stephen Kwan, or the bullpen doing what we thought. I did kind of see a Hunter Gaddis. I always thought Hunter Gaddis would be better out of the bullpen. I have written that. That is on record somewhere. But
Yeah, I
I
had
didn't
that.
I didn't expect him to be this good out of the bullpen. But
Oh, I know he's been so tremendous. Like, but I agree with you. I thought Gaddis had a role somewhere. I didn't know it would be the setup man on this team, but shout out to him. He's next to Clase. That 1-2 punch has been so lethal.
yeah, he's been as good as anybody at the eighth man role. So, but okay, so with Cleveland locked into a win tonight, and it looking like we are going to get a New York loss, that again puts Cleveland a half game back in the standings. It's more like a full game back with the tiebreaker included. Um,
True, true.
there is an off day tomorrow, so we will see what that brings for New York and Baltimore. Um, because we are unsure what that looks like uh for them. They do close with Pittsburgh. Obviously, Cleveland is closing with this big series with the Astros, who are still fighting for. Uh, Actually, I don't know that Houston's fighting for anything. They have clinched their division, so they're at least they are definitely the 3 seed.
Yeah.
So they may actually be also wanting to rest some guys too, and getting more ready for the postseason as well. So maybe if Cleveland's puts a little bit more foot to the pedal, they can get some games. as it stands, it has been tweeted out that the magic number for the top seed is going to be 5 if New York loses tonight. Again, however, that is 5 games with Cleveland playing 3, New York playing 4. So basically, Cleveland has to win out or win more games. New York has to basically lose all of them, which is possible. But Pittsburgh is coming for them. Cleveland has Houston. I'm just rambling at this point. I don't know what I'm saying. Do you just do you think Cleveland gets the number 1 seed and that we end up playing Baltimore or the Tigers? Do you think it happens?
It's probably not likely, but I would like it to. But I say no, just because I don't know how concerned the Guardians are with trying to get the number 1 seed, just because of how they set up their pitching and how they're treating these games right now. It could happen just because random stuff happens. The last couple games of the year can really flip things just because of what's going on and how teams are treating seeding right now. So, like, I think it's
Yeah.
more on the Yankees than us at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you could really, like, as I said, New York, it looks like New York is going to lose tonight. And I say that knocking on all pieces of wood with crossing whatever fingers I need to cross to make it happen. They're losing 8-3
Maybe cross some
in the bottom
toes
of the
while
6th.
you're at it.
Right. 8-3, bottom of the 6th. Baltimore is winning. But maybe if New York comes out and loses again tomorrow, and you're only, you need to win all 3. If you win all 3 games, you're the number 1 seed. You could see Cleveland push a little bit more. It remains possible that they could just say 2 is good enough. We are preparing for what we need to prepare for, and we don't want to show Houston are good guys. So that's possible as well. Who knows? Anyway, for myself, for Matt, for Emmanuel Classe, who hit 103 on the radar tonight, and for Jose Ramirez, who is traveling and trying to get journeying for 40-40, I am Joe Gerbs Gerberry saying, go Guards.
Go Guards.
Go Guards.